Good morning, students. This is Asha, your social science teacher. Um, we are discussing chapter 3 in history, the Delhi Sultans, and today is the last part of it. We are going to discuss how Khilji and Tughlaq dealt with Mongol invasion, because in both their reigns there was invasion from Mongols. So, how did they deal with it? So first we'll discuss Alauddin Khilji. So Alauddin Khilji, Delhi was attacked twice, and he raised a long-standing army to protect himself. He constructed a new garrison town named Siri for his soldiers. So he constructed a new town altogether for his soldiers. And what Muhammad Tughlaq did, he raised a long-standing army and was confident about the strength of his army. Soldiers garrisoned in the oldest of the four cities, Delhi, named Delhi Khanwa after emptying it from resident. So he also raised a long-standing army, but what he did, uh, he bought all the army in his existing town, Delhi Khana, and he get the Delhi Khana emptied. He asked the people living over there to move to Daulatabad, and once the town was empty, he asked army to stand there. Next, Alauddin Khilji, soldiers were fed using produce collected as a tax from lands between Ganga and Yamuna, and tax was fixed 50% of the peasants' yield. So he feed his soldiers with tax, and the tax was 50%. And whereas Muhammad Tughlaq, what he did, the produce from the same area was collected as a tax where for feeding the army. So the where army was staying, that particular area, tax was collected, and additional taxes were also implied. And when he employed the additional taxes, at that time there was a famine in that area. That added to the misery of people. Next, Alauddin Khilji paid soldiers in cash, then iktas. Rather than giving them iktas, he paid them cash. He controlled the prices of goods in Delhi to prevent the merchants from inflating them. And at the same time, he kept an eye that merchants do not increase the prices, and keep a closed watch on market due to the dependence of soldiers on the supplies. Whereas Muhammad Tughlaq also paid the soldiers in cash. He used a token currency made up out of cheap metals. So what he did, he introduced a token currency. But these coins were not trusted by the people of the 14th century. It could be counterfeited easily, and also people saved their gold and silver coin and paid their taxes through token currency. So a lot of fake currency came in market. Alauddin Khilji was successful administrator and gained praise from chronicles. Chronicles are the people who write the chronicles. So whenever you read any chronicles, you will see a lot of praises for Alauddin Khilji for cheap prices and efficient supplies of goods in market. He withstood the threat of Mongol invasion, and whatever measures it took to stop Mongols was defensive, to defend himself. Whereas Muhammad bin Tughlaq, his administrative methods were failure. His campaign to Kashmir was a disaster, after which he decided not to invade Traxonia and disbanded his large army, the large army on which he has invested a lot. His measures were offensive. Offensive means he planned to attack Iran, he planned to attack China, he planned to attack Kashmir, and for that he was investing a lot in army. He managed a long-standing army. His offers were offensive, so he could not gain that much success. And chronicles will never praise him for his methods. Now let's quickly discuss the key terms of this chapter. So the first key term here which we see is hinterland. It is the land adjacent to city or a port that supplies good. Garrison town, a fortified settlement with soldiers. Client, someone who is under the protection of another, a dependent. Now, sajda, a form of salutation in which a person concerned had to kneel down and touch the ground with his forehead. So sajda, in this, a person has to kneel down and say salute to the person. Ulemas, scholars of Islamic learning who were generally orthodox on their outlook. Iktas, the grant of revenue from village or piece of land. Patwari, the officer who kept the land revenue record, was called Patwari. Jagir, a piece of land given to officer of the kingdom. Birthright, privileges claimed to on account of birth. For example, people believed that nobles inherited their rights to govern because they were born in certain families. Gender distinction, social and biological differences between women and men. Usually these differences are used to argue that men are superior to women. These were the key terms. Now let's discuss the question answer. Which ruler first established his rule or her capital at Delhi? So yes, that's what we studied. Tomar Rajputs established his capital at Delhi. Second question, what was the language of administration under Delhi Sultans? The language of administration under the Delhi Sultan was Persian. In where reign did Sultanate reach its farthest extent? Under whose reign? So yes, under the reign of Alauddin Khilji, the Sultanate reached its farthest extent. From which country did Ibn Battuta travel to India? Ibn Battuta traveled to India from Morocco, and that is Africa. Now, according to Circle of Justice, why was it important for military commander to keep interest of peasants in mind? So why keeping the interest of peasants in mind was so necessary? According to Circle of Justice, it was important for military commander to keep the interest of peasantry in mind because a successful ruler should have a large army to support him. We discussed that. The soldiers cannot live comfortably without good salaries, and in order to pay them good salary, the rulers need revenue, and the revenue came from peasants. But the peasants cannot pay revenue only when there is a peace and prosperity in the kingdom. Therefore, the ruler should ensure justice for peasants. What is meant by the internal and external frontiers of Sultanate? Internal frontiers of Sultanate, by this term we mean the Sultanate aimed at consolidating the hinterland of the garrison town, hinterlands of the main fortified town. It means the interest of peasantry was protected for getting continued supply of food and items. And whereas external frontiers of Sultanate, it aims at military expedition of Sultanate in southern India, and it was started during the reign of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq. What steps were taken to ensure the Muktis perform their duties? So Muktis performed their duties. There were many steps taken. They were not awarded iktas. They were awarded for very short tenure or full lifetime. They were appointed for very short time. They were transferred from one to another ikta. They wanted to defy the order because every Mukti has ambition to be independent. What was the impact of Mongol invasion on Delhi Sultanate? Yes, Mongols under Genghis Khan invaded Delhi, and Mongols attack increased in Delhi during reign of Alauddin Khilji. So what was the impact? It paved the way for disintegration of Delhi Sultanate. It forced the two rulers, Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq, to mobilize large standing army in Delhi, which passed posed a huge administrative challenge, right? Because of that attack, they have to mobilize a huge army. Do you think the authors of Tawariq would provide information about lives of ordinary men and women? We do not think that authors of Tawariq would provide information about men and women. Why? All these authors only wrote about the rulers, their way of governance and importance. These authors lived near the areas of Delhi or in the city. Because they lived in city only, they hardly visited village, because of which they are unable to give the account of lives of ordinary people. Keeping the prospects of rewards in mind, these authors wrote about lives of Sultan only. Razia Sultan was unique in history of Delhi Sultanate. So how? Yeah, Razia Sultan was unique in the history of Delhi Sultanate because she was first woman ruler of Delhi. She was more capable than her brother because of which she was given the throne. She was not loved by her subject as it was the age of gender discrimination. Most of the nobles of her court were not happy with her because she wanted to rule independently. Therefore, she was removed from the throne. Right? And the last question, why were Delhi sultans interested in cutting down forest? Yes, Delhi sultans cut down forest because there is some interest in cutting down forest due to many reasons. First of all, forest of Ganga, Yamuna, Doab were cleared for giving free passes to sultan military to go on expedition without damaging the crops of farmer. Secondly, forest cleared land was distributed among the peasants to encourage farming. Yes, they cleared the forest and it was used for farming. Peasants were the main suppliers of food and other items. Deforestation does not occur for the same reason. Today, deforestation is prevalent, but it is a reason and different, like fulfilling the needs of people. So that's all for this chapter today. By this we come to an end of this chapter. Thank you.